Welcome to This Week This Morning, the weekly video that gets you up to speed on the week's most important developments for your business and your taxes. This week is for restaurants, bars, food stands, food trucks, and really just about any business that is in the business of selling you something that you can eat or drink. And if you own one of these establishments and haven't heard of the Restaurant Revitalization Fund Grant Program, I need a few minutes of your attention, which I would guess that I got by using the word grant. That's right, this program is not a loan, but a straight grant to your business from the SBA. The amount of the grant generally is the decrease in the revenue of the business in 2020 as compared to 2019. So if you did $1 million in 2019 and then did $400K in 2020, you'd be looking at a potential grant of $600K. Anyone who would be getting this grant would be familiar with the Paycheck Protection Program. So let's talk about the major differences from the PPP. For starters, as I just mentioned, it's not a loan, so there's no need to apply for loan forgiveness. Also, there's no requirement to spend a certain portion of the grant on payroll, and the non-payroll costs that are eligible are much more broad than the PPP. Last, the covered period, or in layman's terms, the period of time that you can spend the funds in an eligible fashion, is February 15th of 2020 to December 31st of 2021, which is clearly much longer than the covered period for the PPP. But what are the deal breakers here? Well, if you currently have received or have a pending application for a shuttered venue operator grant, you're not eligible. If you're owned by a state or local government or a publicly traded corporation, that ain't gonna work either. If the restaurant has more than 20 locations as of March 13th, 2020, sorry, but you're too big. All businesses, and this is similar to the PPP, need to certify that the uncertainty of current economic conditions make the grant request necessary to support the ongoing operations of the entity. And in terms of funding and priorities, there's a total of $28.6 billion allocated to the program. $5 billion of that is specifically set aside for businesses with revenues of $500K or less, and the remaining $23.6 billion is for businesses above $500K. But regardless of revenue figures, women-owned and veteran-owned businesses, as well as socially and economically disadvantaged small businesses, are going to get priority over everyone else. Grants are capped at $10 million per entity and $5 million per location and must be reduced by the amount of PPP and EIDL loan amounts previously received. So let me be clear that the only thing that's going to keep this program funded for more than a day is the fact that there will be enough businesses excluded that applied for the shuttered venue operator grant and that the bigger restaurant chains are going to be excluded. Nonetheless, the money is going to go fast on this one, so you're going to have to stay on top of this and get your ducks in a row if you want to get your piece of the proverbial pie, which, by the way, wouldn't be a bad name for a pie shop who would also be eligible for this grant. The SBA will be making applications available in the coming weeks, so make sure that your financials are up to date and any other documentation that you might have that would help you prove eligibility is handy as well. And to put a bow on it, I'm absolutely depending on my favorite restaurants and bars to be smart about this, because anyone who knows me knows that I like to eat and drink a bit more than the next guy. Anyway, see you next week.